Did you know the movie Beverly Hills Cop was almost a totally different film, with a totally different star? Imagine Sylvester Stallone running through fancy Beverly Hills in a tracksuit, cracking jokes instead of muscles. Sounds wild, right? But that's just the beginning. Behind the laughs, the car chases, and Axel Foley's smooth swagger, there's a whole world of chaos, last-minute changes, and happy accidents that made this movie a classic. You've seen the film, but you've never heard the real story. Let's dive in and discover 20 weird and amazing facts about Beverly Hills Cop. Number 20. A cop who wasn't supposed to be funny. The original script for Beverly Hills Cop was serious, like really serious. Writers imagined a tough, brooding detective from Detroit solving a murder in sunny California. No jokes, no banana in the tailpipe gags, just grit and gunfights. But when Eddie Murphy got the role, everything changed. He rewrote scenes on the spot, adding his own street-smart humor and quick comebacks. The director loved it so much, they rewrote the whole movie around his energy. What started as a dark crime drama became a comedy hit. It looked like a simple role, but it rewrote movie history. Number 19. Stallone walked away and left the jokes behind. Before Eddie Murphy, Sylvester Stallone was cast as Axel Foley. He even rewrote parts of the script, but made it more like Rambo than Saturday Night Live. He added car chases, explosions, and a training montage. Yes, really? But the studio wanted laughs, not muscles. Stallone left the project, taking his action-heavy version with him. That script later became Cobra, a much darker film. Meanwhile, Murphy stepped in and turned the movie into something fresh, funny, and full of heart. What looked like a casting mistake became pure movie magic. Number 18. The banana trick was real and messy. You remember the scene where Axel jams a banana into a fancy car's tailpipe? That wasn't special effects. They really did it. The crew used a real banana, shoved it into the exhaust, and waited. The car sputtered, smoked, and died, just like in the movie. But here's the weird part. It only worked once. They had to do it over and over with new bananas and new cars because the gag kept failing. Bananas got squished, engines overheated, and the parking lot smelled like a fruit smoothie gone wrong. It looked easy, but it was chaos. Number 17. Eddie Murphy was scared of acting. Even though Eddie Murphy was already a huge star from Saturday Night Live and Trading Places, he was nervous about carrying a whole movie alone. He worried people wouldn't believe him as a real cop. So he spent days hanging out with actual Detroit police officers, watching how they moved, talked, and handled stress. He even rode along on night shifts. That's why Axel Foley feels so real. He's not just a comedian playing dress-up. That wasn't acting. It was real fear. Number 16. The hotel wasn't fancy. It was falling apart. The fancy Beverly Hills hotel where Axel stays. It looked glamorous on screen, but behind the scenes it was a mess. The building was old, the lights flickered, and the elevators broke constantly. One day, Murphy got stuck between floors for over an hour. But instead of complaining, he used the time to brainstorm new jokes. Some of his best lines were born in that broken elevator. What looked perfect on screen almost went wrong behind the camera. Number 15. The chase scene almost got canceled. The wild chase through the art gallery, where Axel dodges sculptures and crashes through glass, was nearly cut from the movie. The studio thought it was too silly. But director Martin Brest fought for it, saying it showed Axel's cleverness and humor under pressure. They filmed it in one long weekend with no permits, sneaking into a real gallery after hours. Security guards almost called the cops on the movie crew. It looked calm, but was pure chaos. Number 14. Axel Foley was a made-up name. The name Axel Foley doesn't come from real life. It was invented by the writers just days before filming. They wanted something that sounded tough but cool, street smart but smooth. Axle came from a motorcycle stunt they saw in a magazine. Foley was borrowed from a sound effects term in filmmaking. Together, it clicked. Now it's one of the most famous cop names in movie history. No fake name, just perfect timing. Number 13. The soundtrack was almost all wrong. The iconic song Axel F. by Harold Faltermeyer wasn't the first choice. The studio wanted a pop ballad with lyrics, but Faltermeyer, a German composer who barely spoke English, insisted on an instrumental synth track. He recorded it in one night on a cheap keyboard. Everyone hated it at first, until they played it over the opening scene. Suddenly, the whole movie had its heartbeat. What sounded strange became unforgettable. Number 12. Eddie Murphy wrote his own lines. On the spot. Many of Axel's funniest lines weren't in the script. During filming, Murphy would improvise entire scenes. Like when he pretends to be a reporter or a fruit delivery guy, he made those up right there. The other actors often couldn't keep a straight face. Take the scene at the art gallery. The guards' laughter, totally real. He wasn't acting, he was cracking up at Murphy's wild energy. That wasn't acting, it was real joy. Number 11. The police chief hated the movie. The real Beverly Hills Police Department didn't like the film. They thought it made their officers look foolish and unprofessional. They refused to help with filming and even banned the crew from using police cars that looked too real. So the movie used fake badges and slightly altered uniforms. Funny enough, after the movie became a hit, the same department started using Beverly Hills Cop as a nickname for new recruits. What looked like disrespect became a badge of honor. Number 10. The whole movie was shot in just 50 days. Beverly Hills Cop wasn't a big-budget epic. It was made fast and lean. The crew shot the entire film in just 50 days, often working 16-hour shifts. They reused locations, borrowed props, and even filmed scenes out of order to save time. Eddie Murphy would nap in his trailer between takes, then jump up and deliver perfect comedy gold. Speed didn't hurt the movie, it gave it energy. It looked polished, but it was made in a hurry. Number 9. The fruit cart scene wasn't planned. The famous scene where Axel hides behind a fruit cart during a chase? That wasn't in the script. The crew saw a real fruit vendor on the street and asked if they could use his cart. He said yes, for $10. They filmed the whole sequence in one take. The oranges that fly everywhere? Real. The vendor's shocked face? Also real. He had no idea what was happening. No fake fruit, only real surprise. Number 8. Eddie Murphy. Almost got fired. Early in filming, the studio thought Murphy was too wild and uncontrollable. They worried his improvising would ruin the movie. One executive even suggested replacing him. But director Martin Brest stood by him saying, "If we lose Eddie, we lose the movie." Thankfully, they kept him, and the film became the highest-grossing movie of 1984. What looked like trouble became triumph. Number 7. The car was a secret star. Axel's beat-up brown sedan wasn't just any car. It was a 1979 Chevy Nova, chosen because it looked like the kind of car a broke Detroit cop would drive. The crew bought 3 of them, but only one survived filming. It got dented, scratched, and soaked in fake and real rain. Today, that car is in a museum. Fans still leave bananas on its hood as a tribute. No fancy ride, just a loyal friend. Number 6. The maitre d' scene was real pain. In the fancy restaurant scene, Axel pretends to be a health inspector and terrifies the snobby staff. But during filming, actor Bronson Pinchot, who played Serge, actually hurt his back doing the exaggerated bowing and flailing. He kept acting through the pain because he didn't want to stop Murphy's rhythm. You can see him wincing slightly in one shot, right before he drops the tray. That wasn't acting, It was real pain. Number 5. The script changed. Every single day. The screenplay for Beverly Hills Cop was rewritten almost daily. Scenes were added, cut, or flipped based on what worked the day before. Sometimes Murphy would suggest a new idea at breakfast, and by lunch, they'd be filming it. The writers stayed on set the whole time, typing new pages between takes. That's why the movie feels so alive. It was being born as they shot it. What looked planned was pure invention. Number 4. The laugh that saved a scene. There's a moment when Axel tricks two cops into thinking he's an FBI agent. The scene wasn't working until Murphy made a silly face and one of the actors burst out laughing. Instead of cutting, the director kept rolling. That real laugh made the whole scene funnier. They used it in the final cut. Sometimes the best moments aren't written. They just happen. No fake laugh, only real friendship. Number 3. The ending was shot backwards. The final scene, where Axel drives off into the sunset, was actually filmed at sunrise. Why? Because the crew ran out of time and money. They couldn't afford to wait for golden hour at sunset, so they woke up at 4 a.m. and shot it as the sun came up. The orange sky? Real. The peaceful feeling? Also real. Sometimes limits create beauty. What looked like sunset was actually dawn. Number 2. Eddie Murphy didn't want a sequel. At first, after the movie's huge success, the studio begged Murphy to make a sequel, but he said no. He didn't want to repeat himself. It took years and a new script that felt fresh for him to agree. That's why Beverly Hills Cop 2 didn't come out until 1987. He wanted Axel to grow, not just crack the same jokes, not just a sequel, a promise. Number 1. The movie changed Hollywood. Forever before Beverly Hills Cop, studios didn't believe a black comedian could lead a major action comedy. They thought audiences wouldn't connect, but this movie proved them wrong. Big time. It earned over $300 million worldwide and opened doors for countless actors and writers. It showed that humor, heart, and hustle could cross any border, geographic or cultural. What looked like just a fun movie became a revolution. Bonus fact. Here's a secret almost no one knows. The original ending had Axel getting arrested for impersonating an officer. It was dark, bittersweet, and totally out of tone. Test audiences hated it. So the filmmakers shot a new ending in just one day, using leftover film and a borrowed camera. They filmed Axel walking away, free and smiling, with Axel F. playing softly. That tiny change turned the movie from good to legendary. Beverly Hills Cop isn't just about car chases and banana pranks. At its heart, it's about a man who doesn't fit in, but never stops fighting for what's right. It's about using your wits instead of your fists, your voice instead of your badge. And it's proof that sometimes the weirdest ideas, the ones everyone doubts, become the stories we remember forever. If you enjoyed these stories, subscribe for more. Every movie hides a truth, and we'll keep uncovering them, one story at a time.